and crimes against humanity are continuing to take place in Sudan's vast western Darfur region, where civil war has again raged for more than 2 years. The tribunal's deputy prosecutor said Thursday, Nadat Shamim Khan told the UN Security Council that the depth of suffering and the humanitarian crisis in Darfur has reached an intolerable state, with famine escalating and hospitals, humanitarian convoys, and civilian infrastructure being targeted. People are being deprived of food and water, she said. Race and sexual violence are being weaponized. Abductions for ransom or to bolster the ranks of armed groups is common. And yet we should not be under any illusion, she warned the UN body, things too dull get worse. Sudan plunged into conflict in mid-April 2023 when long-standing tensions between its military and paramilitary leaders broke out in the capital, Khartoum, and spread to other regions, including Darfur. The Biden administration, just before it left office in January, determined that the RSF paramilitary and its proxies were committing genocide. 2 decades ago, Darfur became synonymous with genocide and war crimes, particularly by the notorious Janjaweed Arab militias against populations identified as Central or East African. Up to 300,000 people were killed, 2.7 million were driven from their homes. Khan said that those in Darfur now, inflicting unimaginable atrocities on its population, should know that while they may feel a sense of impunity, Janjaweed leader Abi Fushib is currently on trial in the ICC. Hopes it will be the first of many. Now, interjecting, I can't say I'm anywhere near as optimistic. I think many of these groups probably will operate with total impunity, and I doubt that that's going to change anytime soon. The situation in Sudan is really horrible, again, especially in western Sudan. And mind you, this is a situation, I've followed this for the last 2 years. There are no good guys here. You have a military dictatorship that's horrible on one side, you have a genocidal paramilitary on the other. There's no side that's good here. If we want to take sides, there is no good side in this conflict. It's just the Sudanese government is bad, and then the RSF paramilitary is worse. But they're all rotten to the core, essentially, and they've all committed atrocities too. I say this, of course, with bitter sarcasm, but the best part about this all is that this conflict is essentially ongoing for no reason whatsoever. It's just that you have these 2 warlords that are squabbling for power and control, and that's literally it. There's no other objective than that. It's literally just these 2 warlords that want power, and they're dragging the rest of the country down with them. The death toll fluctuates wildly, and many of these areas in western Sudan are completely cut off and have been for a long time now, but few people even know how bad things are on the ground. But at a minimum, it's likely that the death toll is 150,000, but it's likely significantly more than that. The death toll could possibly be as high as possibly well over 500,000. When you factor in all the civilians that have been killed, those that have starved to death, those who have died from disease due to the limited infrastructure even that exists, having collapsed, etc. So the death toll, we just know it's very high. And this conflict, it looks like there's no sign of it slowing down. Unfortunately, these numbers are probably only going to continue to increase. So no good news out of Sudan. It's a sad note to end it on, but dear listeners, that's the latest news from VORW Radio International. Now for the remainder of the broadcast, I'll be balancing out this talk and discussion with some listener-requested music. If you are tuning into this broadcast right now, however, please note, I have no analytics, no statistics, no metrics, no way of knowing there is anyone out there listening into this broadcast right now. If you ever read these listener, I'm sure it sounds old and repetitive, but I give this in every single broadcast. And understand, just because I give the whole spiel and explanation so often, it doesn't undermine its importance ever. As a matter of fact, one of the most important aspects of this broadcast, you can understand, I get here to the microphone twice a week, every week. I don't do this just to sit here and hear the sound of my own voice for an hour or anything like that. I do this for an audience. I do this for you, the listener. That's why I put forth the time, the energy, of course, the resources, material and financial, to be able to do this show for you. Again, the listener. I do this for an audience, but when I have no way of knowing there's an audience out there, that makes it quite difficult on my end to even be able to determine if this is all worth it or not. So as a result, I have one way, and one way only, of knowing that there's anyone out there listening. That is through direct correspondence, and that's it. You as a listener, you have to let me know that you're out there tuning the broadcast right now. If no one writes in, there could be thousands and tens of thousands of people listening, but if no one writes in, on my end, the way I see it, then no one listens, because I'll never know. So I just can't stress enough how important it is that I hear from listeners. Because it's the only way, like I said, knowing if anyone's even